Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Matthew. Taking a look again here at the power regression trend line over the Bitcoin price. If you're new here, this is definitely my most requested chart. I've done many videos on this topic going back to the start of my YouTube channel last year, January 2023. All-time Bitcoin price here, starting Bitcoin Pizza Day, May 22nd, 2010, under a penny. Bitcoin price. Now, here we are. Let's just zoom in. As of the recording of this video, which is March 15th, Bitcoin is hovering around $67,600. Now, let's zoom in even more. We can see that that is down from a couple days high here in mid-March of over $70,000 per Bitcoin, a new all-time high. Where does that put us as far as the all-time trend line goes? That's what's in black right here. Let's even take off the sigma lines to just show you exactly. It's the black trend line. We're right at it. Okay. We bumped above it, fell down just for a second, bumped above it for a few days, and now a little bit, as of this recording, March 15th, a little bit of a dip in price. $6,000 dip as of this recording right now. $67,600. The point of this video today is just to show you, to back up, bird's eye, where we are in the cycle and just in general, assuming that this power trend line is as good as it is, and it has a 95% R squared across the entire Bitcoin pricing data history. All right, so let's zoom out and let's see. Generally, what I want to tell you is when price crosses this black line, it typically doesn't look back. Not always. Let's go ahead and look here in the last cycle, 2020 and 2021. All right, this was a little bit early for the 4-year cycles. We started to make all-time highs already in early 2021. We crossed here the all-time trend line, which would have been close to this. It would have been a little bit different at the time, but regardless, we crossed somewhere in November 2020. We didn't really look back, okay? And then once we went below it, we also didn't look back as we went to lower lows in the FTX debacle in late 2022. Let's look back to the 2017 cycle. All right, here we did bounce around it for about 6 months, okay? I remember very well this time. This is when I had started my podcast as well with Fernando. We were talking about it. The ICOs were going crazy. Ethereum was actually booming. People talking about the flippening of Ethereum. Bitcoin was above its trend line, then dipped below, but then in the end didn't look back toward reaching all-time highs of $20,000 per Bitcoin in 2017. Let's just look at one more cycle here. The 2013 cycle, we had two booms. All right, went to 200 and some dollars, then down to 60, then back up to $1,300 Bitcoin at the end of 2013. The time that we went above the trend line that year was early 2013, March 2013. And once it was above it, yeah, it did slide back from that first boom when it hit $200 for the first time. Bitcoin did that year, but then it reached all-time highs again in 2013. So this is just the nature of Bitcoin cycles, Bitcoin booms. I don't really like to call them Bitcoin bubbles. I heard that, I believe, from Trace Mayer as well on our show, actually. I agree with it. We have these booms, speculative attacks, they've been called as well on Bitcoin. I don't like really referring to them as booms and busts, but mostly booms, because this is when an order of magnitude more of people start hearing about it and then, of course, want to buy. And then when they all thought they would just get rich and then forget about it, we have the retracements. Just want to take a moment to remind you that this show is brought to you by Trezor, home of the original Bitcoin hardware wallet. Established in 2012, Trezor means business in Bitcoin security and functionality. Whether you're protecting your identity with Tor or using Trezor Suite to smoothly send or receive a Bitcoin transaction, Trezor gives you full control of your coins in a transparent and fully open source manner, both on the hardware and software level. So head on over to Trezor.io to grab your Trezor Safe 3 with the secure element, Model T with a touchscreen, or the original Trezor 1, as well as a ton of available accessories to back up your keys and keep your coins safe. We're proud to be associated with Trezor this year, but that's generally how it works, okay? So just to close out this video, as we, again, go towards the all-time trend line, this power regression trend line, which is about $66,000 itself. Where are we in the grand scheme? Let's put 1 sigma up, 1 sigma down. Remember, everything that is in between, all the pricing action that is in between these blue bands, these blue lines, happens 2/3 of the time. Okay, so even though it's been, almost 2 years where we've crossed this very strong power regression trend line, we're perfectly normal considering the trajectory of Bitcoin's adoption, the trajectory of Bitcoin's pricing data, perfectly normal, right in the middle, right on trend. So think about it that way. And then if we put the 2 sigma up and 2 sigma down lines, okay, which are more extreme, notice again the 2 sigma down is closer to the 1 sigma down because most of the time the data sort of hangs out at those levels or a little bit above those levels. It's spread out for the 2 sigma up line because, as we've seen, those booms, those peaks in prices can be quite rare in that they hit it for a couple days and then they make their retracement. Okay, and we had the double top, interestingly, in 2021, and we didn't hit the 2 sigma up line. But that's just something to keep in mind as far as where we are. And then just for your exuberance and enjoyment, let's go out to the end of the 4-year cycle, which would be about 2025. At the moment, November, December 2025. Let's just read them all off here. 1 sigma down. 2 sigma down. 2 sigma down, which is an extremely rare event, $52,000 Bitcoin. 1 sigma down, which is not as rare event. In fact, can be quite common, even if it hits that extreme, that line, $66,000 Bitcoin. The trend itself, by late 2025, $130,000 Bitcoin, $127,000 Bitcoin, 1 sigma up, $280,000 Bitcoin, 2 sigma up, which is very rare, and as it's only one of those bands. All right, this is actually the 97.5th percentile, meaning only 2.5% of the observations are above that red line, $828,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so where we are right now, very exciting. I know people love talking about price, but again, you're going to read a lot of know-it-alls from Wall Street telling you that this is just can't sustain itself, it won't last. Based on this wonderful power regression trend line of 95% R squared, we are right on track, right on target, well within the norm of Bitcoin's adoption and pricing. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.